wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what's changed in my life with Parkinson's. So obviously, um, with the physical changes that are happening with my body, it's begun to limit some of the things I can do. I mentioned that I do woodworking as a hobby side gig thing, and obviously having a trimmer or balance issues can be dangerous around, spinning saw blades and things like that. So although I'm going to continue to try to do woodworking, I'm really going to scale it down to things that I can do mostly by hand, so I have more control over things like that. I also, extended periods of physical exertion really wear me down. Seems like I don't, and let me say this too, I am not a doctor. I have just as many questions and uncertainties about things as everybody else in this community. So the only thing I can think of is that doing a lot of physical activity tends to wear me out faster. And one thing that I believe is that it causes the medication to kind of burn up a little bit faster. I don't know. I don't know if you get your blood pumping, it's circulating through there a little bit faster. I don't know. So I have to limit my activities to that. For instance, the other day we walked down to the park for a community thing, and which is literally just like 4 blocks from our house. And by the time I got down there, I could start to feel it. And then I walked back, and I was kind of done for a while. Took some medication, got back on track, but even that little walk kind of wore me out a little bit. Believe it or not, going to mass wears me out. The standing, the sitting, the kneeling, the standing, the sitting, the kneeling, it takes its toll. It doesn't help that about the time that it's finishing up, it's time for my next round of medication. So I'm on the downward slope by then. I'm trying not to let this affect life and missing out on those things. I struggle a lot with that. As somebody who is kind of always go, go, go and willing to take on new tasks and projects, I have to tell myself no. I used to be a 2-step guy, not the dance. I can't dance. Ask my wife, I can't dance. But when I would take stairs, I would, every other step, I would bounding up the stairs. And now I'm putting both feet on each step almost every time I walk upstairs and making sure I'm using the railing. That's more of a precaution than anything, because I have had a couple times where I'm dragging my heel and it'll get caught on the edge of the step walking down specifically, and I'll down a couple steps and land on my butt and have to sit there for a second while I gather myself. So I'm trying not to let it affect what I do. I just have to figure out how to readjust how I do things. And I've got to learn to time my medication dosages around activities and be prepared to take the medication when it's before I start getting zapped. But again, certain things can cause that to wear out a little bit faster. So as I learn more and more about what causes that downtime to approach faster and that off time to approach faster, I can rearrange myself to fit into those activities a little bit better. But there's a lot of things I can still do. One thing that, as we've been kind of telling people more and more about this, and as people have approached me about this, I can see that look of pity almost, and they speak louder and slower, but my mind's still sharp. I'm still the same guy, and I can still think clearly. Sometimes it might just take me a little bit longer to get the words out, and sometimes it may take me a little bit longer to do the things that I'm saying, but I'm still the same guy. I'm just a little slower. And so I could still do plenty. It's just being mindful of and understanding my limits, and as time goes on, continuing to readjust for new limitations that arise. Um, but we'll get through this.